Hello, it's Jen. It is Friday, June the 20th. I'm here live with you. If you're there live with me, thanks for joining me. Just let me know you're here. And if you're catching the replay later, please let me know. I go live here every Friday to do a Stampin' Up! Card from start to finish. And I am going to do first a draw, which is what I normally do. So I do a draw for the card that I made the week before. So this is the card that I made the week before. Let me just bring it in here. So it's this fun little card using the Scenic Adventure and opens like that. So it's a great card for the outdoors person, maybe a masculine card, something like that. So let me do a draw for that. So if you commented, liked, or shared, then you're automatically in my draw. And I'm just finding here my screen. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. I wasn't actually live last week, but I did post a video. So as long as you're Canadian and not an illustrator, you can win. And so Robin, you qualify. So congratulations, Robin. I am going to get that card in the mail to you. And the way you get in on this week's card is again to comment, like, or share. So let me just pop right to the craft desk and I'm going to say hello to Vila. How are you, Vila? I saw your email come in, so I'll answer that a little bit later. I've got purple here today. Hello, Judy. Hope you're doing well, she says. I am. I should just go like this again for a minute and smile. I'm in the middle of a bunch of dentist appointments, which is not cheap, by the way, which you probably know, even without, well, with benefits, still probably not cheap, but super not cheap without benefits. So, hello. Did I just lose me for a minute? Can you still hear me? Let me know if you can still hear me. Anyways, I'm going to be seeing the dentist a lot this summer, and it won't all be fun. So I'm doing okay, Judy. How are you? That was a long answer to your question, but other than that, I'm great. Hello to Marg and Lorraine as well. So I am going to use this stamp set today. It's called Beautiful Butterflies, and there is a die set that will go with it as well. So there's a bunch of different dies, including this huge one. And there's a hybrid embossing folder. So I thought what I would do is I would just show you that quickly in the store. So you can see here it is, Beautiful Butterflies. You can see all the breakdown of the different parts right here if you wanted just one part and not the whole thing. I'm actually just going to work with the stamp set today, although I do have a card that shows the folder after. So I'll show you that. And I also wanted to just mention here while I'm sharing, actually, I think I have to stop the share and make this work. Let's try this one more time. Share the screen. And here we go. So this is my website, stampwithjen.com. And this right here is the Sweet Special, which is only on until the end of this month. So I just want to point it out. So it says all sweets and sweet products. Buy one, get one for 50% off. So if you scroll down, I've got some tips and all that stuff. But here's all the sweets. But what's cool about that is if you pick, say, for instance, the celebratory Sips Sweet. I hope that followed me. Let me just see if it did. Oh, it doesn't look like it did. Okay, so let me just try that again. Sometimes I do use this for my meetings and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so let me just see. Celebratory Sips, good. Let's just make this full screen so you can see it. Great. Okay, so for example, this one here, you can get the sweet and another one and you get the other one at 50% off. Or you can get any parts of the sweet. So for example, if you just like the designer series paper, you could get that. And then you could get another something, around that price and get it for 50% off. So it's not just the whole suite. It could be the bundle, the paper, the embellishments or something. So just make sure you check that out. Okay, that's enough of all that. Let's jump to this layout here. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, so I'm going to close this up. Hello, Margaret from North Carolina. How's the weather down there? I bet it's getting warm. Okay, so I just showed you a really complicated card that I did last week that I did on a pre-recorded video because I was at a demonstrator play date, which was super fun. And so this week I thought I would switch it up and do a fairly simple card. All of a sudden I have a froggy voice. I haven't talked to anybody but the dog and the cats today and the dentist to make another appointment. Okay, so I'm folding a piece of Highland Heather cardstock in half. I'm just going to grab a sip of water. I'll bring it closer too. It's way across the other side of the room, away from my stamping stuff, because then I won't make an accident and spill. So I've got a little square here, and this square is 2 inches by 2 inches. And I'm going to take this very pretty butterfly from the set and my Memento black ink. And this is a felt pad, so I need to give it a little twist and a little tap to even that ink out. I'm going to stamp this like this. Ta-da! Okay, that is the only ink I'm going to use, and the only 2 papers I'm using are white and Highland Heather. So I have another little square here that's going to mat in there. And then I've got a set of blends, and they're Highland Heather, so they match this. That plus the stamp set are all I'm using for this card. So I just want to show you how easy it is to create a card with just a little bit of supplies, not too many. So I'm going to take my blends marker, and I'm just going to color this image. I'm not going to do any shading. I'm just straight up coloring. This image is very tiny and I don't feel the need to blend. When you get these blend markers, you come in both a light and a dark color so that you can blend the colors and make nice images, but you can also just color with them and get 2 shades. So, and really you can get more shades because the more you go over these, the darker they will become. So I'm just adding in some of the dark. One of the things I do like to do is we have No Gorgeous Grape in the blends collection. So I often like to use this dark one almost as like a gorgeous grape because it's quite a lot darker. So I'm just coloring in randomly. I don't even know if I did the same colors as my sample. I don't think I did. So that'll be good. It'll be a little bit different. So let me just hold that up so you can see. It is different colors of purple on the black, and then I'm going to leave some white as well. Hello, June, watching me live today. That's all I'm going to do today. It's that simple. So I'm going to attach it to here. I'm just using my double-sided seal adhesive, but you can use whatever adhesive you like. Oh, I see I have a tiny little blurb there from the, I don't know if you can see that. Just a little tiny spot from the blends. It must have leaked just a tiny bit. So I'm going to try and grab my eraser, which I may have not put back after my, oh, here it is. Here it is. So this is just this is called a sand mono eraser. You can go to my website under products and then Jen recommends, and this is just something from Amazon. And it's a really light eraser. It's almost like a sandpaper, but super light, and it just takes the top layer of the cardstock off so that if you have just a little tiny boo-boo, it's enough to fix it. You can also use the color lifter if you want on here, but I'm assuming if you're brand new, or even if you've been around for a while, maybe you don't want to order a lot of products, you just want to have a few things around, so this is a good thing to have. So I'm going to lay this on here like this. And then I'm going to take 2 more images from the stamp set. And it says, "So thankful." I'm just going to stamp that there. And the reason I do this before I attach it to the card base is if I make a mistake, I can always flip this over. And then it says, "For you." So thankful for you. How pretty is that? Very simple. And I'm going to do one more thing to this while I have it here. I just can't resist. I'm sorry. I've got to add one more thing. This is the Wink of Stella. It is a glitter pen, basically. And I'm just going to color all the white bits with this. Now, it doesn't often show up well on camera. I'll give it a little spin around and we can see if we can see it. But it is so pretty in person because it just adds a little bit of something. So there it is. I can just angle it and maybe get the glitter. You might be able to see it. I'm not sure if the light's catching into that. I used this embossing folder yesterday for a birthday card. Well, there you go. It's so pretty. So this stepped up sample that I have to show you does use the folder. But this particular one, I'm just keeping it very plain. Like I said, just 2 colors of cardstock and 1 ink and the set of blends. And that's all you need. I'm going to use dimensionals. This is what I consider basics for adhesives. You know, something like the double-sided tape and some dimensionals. So turn that over. These are little hexagon shapes and they're double-sided. So you just peel them off and stick them on your project, however many you want. I like to do one in the middle on a small thing just because then it doesn't sort of sink when it goes through the mail. Okay, so this is going to go on here like this. Very simple card layout, but beautiful and stunning. Of course, I'm going to have to add some bling to it, but it would be nice just like this. Now, I just should point out this too, that this is just a 1/8 inch border. Sorry, 1/16 inch border rather than my normal 1/8. My other sample, I'll show you, it has a bigger border. So that's just cutting. I said this piece was 2 inches. So then I just cut this at 2 and 1/8. So that gives me a 2 and sorry, it gives me a 1/16 border all the way around because I did 1/8 total. If that's too much math for you, make sure you sign up to my newsletter list because I do send you a little ruler with measurements on it. Just looking for my Take a Pic tool. These are the purple fine shimmer gems. I've lost the packaging, but it's got different colors of purple on there. So what's not to love about that? So I'm going to make it different than my other one. So just so we can see the difference. So there's a lighter purple. I'll put that down there. And then maybe we'll add the darker purple. Well, it wants to fall right there. So that's where it's going to stay. Right there. So let me hold this up again so you can see it. Definitely the shimmer on those are picking up. So very pretty and very simple card. You could put a piece of white in here to make it easier to write, but this is quite a light color. It may not look like that on camera, but it's quite a light color, easy to write up. So what do you think? And let me show you, put this away and let me show you my other sample. And I'll look and see what you guys are saying. So pretty. Beulah and Judy both said, thank you. So here is my other sample. So you can see on this one that I have used the embossing folder that goes with it, which Beulah talked about. So how do you stamp on the embossing folder? Well, you don't. You stamp first and then you do the embossing folder. The other thing I did differently here is I put a gem right for the butterfly's head and I just put the gems in a different spot. And you can see here that this border is a little bit bigger on this one than this one. So it's just a bit of a different look. So whatever you want. So I think they're both very pretty. Like I said, if you didn't have a lot of supplies, like you didn't have a stamp and cut and emboss machine, you could just get the stamp set and still make a beautiful card. There's nothing wrong with that. Lorraine says, very pretty, isn't it? Sometimes the simplest cards are the prettiest cards. And you could do this in so many different colors, or you could swap in, if you had a little flower or something, you could swap that in there. So anyways, that's how simple it is. We're at 12 minutes today, and I talked at the beginning too. So we're really fast today. So tell me what you're doing this weekend. Are you doing any stamping? Tomorrow is an event from Stampin' Up that is for demonstrators. It is online for about 2 or 3 hours, I think. And there's some stamping and they show us some sneak peeks and stuff like that. So it's kind of a fun thing for demonstrators. They do record it, which is good because if the weather is nice, I'm going to be out in the backyard gardening and doing some stuff. So I will go to it live just because it's in the middle of the afternoon and, you know, Saturdays are rare when it's nice weather. So hopefully it is and we can do that. So to get in on the draw to win this card, be sure to comment, like, and share. And I think I better get off before I completely lose my voice. I don't know what's going on there. Or I just need to talk some more. I don't know. So thank you so very much for joining me today. Like I said, I'm here every Friday. Please join me and I will show you always how to make a Stampin' Up! Card. If you ever have any requests, just let me know. I'm happy to show you whatever it is you want to know. I like I said, showing complex cards sometimes and then simpler cards sometimes because we all need cards quickly. A lot of times you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot somebody's birthday. When I was talking to the dentist reception today and we booked 2 more appointments for me, she goes, oh, you can come in on my birthday. So of course I wrote down quickly, it's Stacy's birthday on June 15th or whatever date the appointment is. So, you know, this kind of a card would be the perfect card for me to whip up when I notice on my appointment that morning that I haven't actually made a card yet. So something like this would be perfect. So, so wishing everyone a wonderful weekend. Vila says, enjoy your weekend. You as well, Vila. And I will talk to you all again soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.